lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
RFRL Racing League. We're ready to rock and rumble here as these guys are getting a little bit of a warm-up on before the race gets started. Looks like we've got 19 drivers that are going to be ready to rock and rumble here at this 1.25 miles. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'm going to bring in my good friend and broadcast partner and also a hometown person for this race. Alan Bergen, how you doing and how excited are you to be watching the race from home?
I am super excited here. Worldwide Technology Raceway here in Madison, Illinois. Just 25 minutes northeast of the Tony Trapazzo Memorial Studio, as I call it here. But nonetheless, a mile, just, you know, 1.25 miles, that odd-shaped oval, a hotbed for racing here in St. Louis and in the real world. If you have a Flow Racing subscription, go watch the Kubota Gateway Dirt Nationals night number 1. Features are rolling out right now. Just getting ready to 25 laps, getting ready to lock in the first 3 cars for Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I just want to do a quick personal thing and say happy birthday to my niece Lila. Can't imagine you'll be watching, but happy birthday. We don't do that here. It's just an important birthday. But yeah, so Christian Delgado looks to be sitting on the pole here after a blazing fast qualifying lap. He's got Nate Lesko, our race 1 winner, to his outside, with Cody Deek in 3rd place. We'll go through the full grid as these guys get ready to rock and rumble. Right now we're looking at John Ross. He's got himself a nice 44 car. Brandon Hinton, also another driver who has won this season. He won in round number 2, missed 2 weeks ago, and looks to, hopefully, looks to become the first repeat winner on the season. Nate Lesko, of course, hoping to do the same. Ryan Philbrick doesn't seem to be here today, so he will not be able to be the first 2-time winner, at least this week.
Yeah, not this week, but we're getting ready to go. You know, you alluded to that starting grid, and well, Christian Delgado, the Adrenaline Racing teammates on the front row.
Yeah, Alan, we've got ourselves a pretty competitive field here today. 19 drivers are going to be ready to rock and rumble, and these next-gen cars, they are, at least on iRacing, they are ridiculously close in pace, and you can be pretty racy with these things. Now, of course, we've got 2 completely different sets of corners here, with turns 1 and 2 being more of a tight, little bit higher banked, but not by much. Super tight, probably a 3rd to 4th gear corner. And then you've got turns 3 and 4, which is a lot wider, a lot more of a sweeper. That'll definitely be a 4th gear corner. Maybe somebody trying to save fuel might go for 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, my driver to beat tonight is the number 44 car, the boss, John Ross, starting on the outside pole. He's going to be my pick.
Man, I don't know if I could make a pick. It's easy to say John Ross. I think Christian Delgado from the polls, a good guess, too. Joshua Gillen and David Cook are still, it looks like they could be starting from the pits here. Anyways, we've got our starting lineup here. We've got, give me one moment. Christian Delgado on the pole with John Ross to his outside. Nate Lesko, followed by John Crosby, Christian Clark, Cody Deek, Brandon Broadfoot, Sean Dion, Tom Ringer, Joshua Gillen, Thomas Wynn, Todd Parent, Jonathan McIntosh, and Chuck Burley, David Berchicki, Jacob Williams, the last drivers to put down a lap. David Cook, Brian Sousa, and Brandon Hinton did not get a qualifying time in, so they will have to be at the back. And of course, we mentioned Josh Gillen and David Cook going to be starting this race from the pits. Having a little graphical issues on my end. Alan, take us to the green.
All right. Well, as we come down to iRacing.com pace car pulls on the pit road, we are meeting a green under the gateway arch, and we are off and running. Boss John Ross gonna go way high. That's gonna allow the 31 car Christian Delgado to take
we got
the
one
early
spinning
lead.
already. John Crosby.
Oh,
Still green. He stayed to the inside. Unfortunate start for him, but that causes a big separation in the middle of the field.
let's go back and see what happened there to that to the John Crosby machine there. 73 car. We're on a slow-mo replay right now. Now you can see, Liam, the boss John Ross gets up into the wall.
Oh, we got a caution.
And it just goes around.
Yeah, Crosby gets sideways. We're under caution here, though, for... Might have just been for that first lap incident there.
Oh, yep. iRacing didn't call it or throw it, so they threw it. Nope.
Oh, yeah, there was another incident getting up into turn 1.
Let's see. I want to say it was the 92 car involved, maybe? Searching for it. Maybe that's the cause of the yellow. Let's see. Here, we don't like to speculate things, but here we are.
Yeah, it looked like it was the 3 getting up into the wall. Let's take a look here. Todd Parrott down on the inside. Yeah, contact there sends the 3 into the wall.
Oh, man. What a...
So that's what the caution came out for. They didn't go all the way around, so it technically wasn't going to bring out a yellow. But
well, we're going to go... The back out from field is going to be on pit road.
oh, absolutely. I know it's early on, but definitely want to try to get some of those pre-race jitters out of the way. Top off on fuel a little bit. Alan, I'm not sure what we're looking at for fuel range here today, but
I mean, it's 110 laps here. I mean, so 110. I would want to think that they could make it on 3 stops.
well, they've got 4 sets of tires, 80% fuel load, so
Maybe 2.
we'll see what these guys try to do, of course.
I will tell you
Christian
this.
Delgado gonna choose the bottom here for the lead.
I will tell you
Everybody
this.
else gonna double up. What do you
Liam,
got?
every time I try to guess fuel mileage, they make me look like a liar. But I tell you what, that number 20 car, Nate Lesko, that is a sharp-looking Nesquik can.
Yeah, I want to say we're probably looking between 40 and 50 laps. Just because I think of how monumental it was for Joey Logano to go 70 with caution flags at Nashville a couple of years ago. And 80%, bring you down to about 56.
Yeah.
Take away the caution laps, it'd definitely be under 50.
Nonetheless,
Try to do a little bit of math here on the fly.
the lights are out on that iRacing.com pace car as we have Christian Delgado and Nate Lesko on the front row. They're going to be bringing us a green. Christian Clark, the boss, Sean Ross, will be in that second row. iRacing.com pace car jumps on the pit road. Down.
Left turn into the Geico restart zone. Delgado's going to wait on it. Green flag in the air. We're going to try this again. Getting down into turn number 1 as Delgado got an amazing restart. He's got 4 car lengths on second place. 8, let's go. This guy's sliding up way wide once again here in the first corner. That's a dangerous maneuver, especially given what we saw. The 73 getting sideways on that initial corner.
Yeah, definitely, and a much cleaner start this time by, as you know, this is kind of like that typical 1.5 mile turn here at the turn 3 or 4, and you always got to run turns 1 and 2 like a short track.
Yeah, and that's really one of the unique things about this racetrack is that you can do turns 1 and 2. You've got to try to get that momentum on the exit because these straightaways are so long compared to the corners. Like you mentioned, turns 3 and 4, it's a little bit wider, it's a little bit more of a sweeper, kind of gives maybe Twin Ring Motegi vibes or a little bit more banked than what Homestead used to be. But once you get down into turn number 1, it's like kind of a combination between Richmond and Martinsville.
So definitely you see that Nate Lesko's hard on the brakes as we're on board with that Nestle quick And you can see, oh, that wall just comes out and gets you.
It absolutely does. It's Joshua Gillen has had himself an issue, no caution yet. We can take a look at that later, but you can listen to this driver. He's rocking 4th gear right now. Gonna shift up into 5th throughout the straightaway, but he's gonna get all the way down to 3rd gear. Back up into 4th. Jumping up to 5th. And you can hear him. He's got to blip the throttle a little bit because while these are semi-automatic or semi-manual, you don't have to push in the clutch. You've just got to let off of the revs to try to match where you're going to be in the next gear.
Definitely.
Absolutely beautiful stuff here on board with the 20 of Nate Lesko. I think it would do him a service to stay a little bit lower coming up off of these corners, especially seeing the leader hit the wall a couple of times. 6/10 back right now. He's got the 99 of Christian Clark. Not too terribly far behind, but Christian's got a whole nother thing to worry about in the boss, John Ross.
Yeah, the boss, John Ross, who I've raced against personally, and I got to call many of his races. This track just suits his driving style so well. And not only that, but he's also a teammate to our leader, Christian Delgado out of Abilene, Kansas. Who, Liam,
Adrenaline Racing, or Adrenaline.
Yep.
Adrenaline? That's their town? I thought it was Adrenaline. These guys repping the hometown.
Well, no, it's Abilene, Kansas is where Christian Delgado's from. Adrenaline Racing is the team name.
All right. Delgado continues to extend his lead. We've got a battle here for looks to be 6th place. Just behind that, you see going in there for 7th. That's a 68 machine of Tom Ringer. Try to ring around the inside and get around the 13 of Cody Deek. Going to complete that pass coming up off of turn number 4. Deek looking to cross him back over, makes a move down to the inside, getting into turns 1 and 2, and not able to get the bumper there. Ringer's going to be able to outbrake him into the corner with the wider entry, get a nice exit coming up off, and continue his march towards the front. He's up 3 spots so far, but our biggest mover is Brian Sousa, who started in 18th. He technically got 2 of them at the beginning, with the 2 drivers starting on the pit lane, but he's passed 5 since then. He's doing a pretty good job working his way up. David Cook just behind him, one of the drivers that had to start from the pit lane. Doing a pretty good job of working his way through the field, currently sitting in the 12th position after 6 laps complete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, no, I was looking at the wrong stat there. That's 13 laps complete. He's 6 seconds off the race lead.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Christian Delgado doing Christian Delgado thing. And Liam, we've seen Christian Delgado on Saturdays. We've raced against Christian Delgado on Saturdays in other leagues. And I mean, he drives with such patience. And, and this is why he's leading this race right now and pulling out that 7/10 of a second lead.
Well, Alan, you bring that up, the patience, and you talk about 7, 8, now it's 8/10 of a second. But, I mean, if he wanted to, he could totally have put that up to well over a second and a half at this point, but he knows that with these tires, with the way that this race generally trends, it tends to stay green after people get separated. He's going to want to save those tires a bit. Don't really want to start pushing until you get 15 to 20 laps into a run, and even then, you don't want to push too hard. You want to keep your stuff as clean and fresh as possible for the end.
Yeah, definitely.
We've seen races with comers and goers. And Christian Delgado, he does not want to be a goer.
You mentioned David Cook a while back, as we were right now watching Chuck Burley. David Cook having some connection issues all over the live timing scoring here, and that's just so tough for you know, for David Cook, who was hoping to have a good run. That could wreak havoc on the other drivers, not knowing where he's gonna maybe spawn, if you will.
Turning into Chuck Burley here. He's up 4 spots from where he started. Started 14th, now sitting in the 10th position. Trying to chase down Thomas Wynn in front of him. Things are starting to single file out here. Christian Delgado up to, well, actually, Nate Lesko's starting to close in on that lead now. It's down to about half a second. So you see the... Yeah, there's the 20. Starting to close in a little bit. Take a look at last time around. Another 10th in the favor of Nate Lesko. So as we were talking about the 31, being patient and not using up his stuff, seems like Lesko might have been saving a little bit more. And now that it's come around that lap 15-20 range, he thinks, all right, let's give this a push. Maybe I could take the lead and start to pull away.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that strategy. You know, it's a long race. There's no stages. So, I mean, why not? Why not save, and have someone for at the end there? And he's trying, you know, he knows he's going to have to come down pit road rather sooner than later. You know, only one caution so far on the night, and that was a while back, probably around lap 10.
No, that caution was lap 2.
2? Yeah, 2. Jeez, where's my head at?
It's okay, we're both looking at the same line. Delgado got into the wall just a hair coming up off of turn number 4. Kind of cost him his run that he's been getting coming up off of that corner. Turns 1 and 2, I think it favors the 20 just a hair with his lower exit. And Delgado might have touched that wall once again.
He did.
He got it fairly decently, actually. He's going to lose a bit more time. He's got a more aggressive entry into turns 3 and 4. He goes wider to come down the track and get that exit. And that's really what's working for him. That's where he's pulling away.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to Liam, when we were on board with Nate Lesko, it's almost as if Nate Lesko had a better turns 1 and 2 than Delgado, but Delgado has a better 3 and 4 than Lesko does.
Lesko had a really good 1 and 2 there, and now this time he's going to try to follow in those tire tracks. It's not always the safest bet in this next-gen car, but he can at least try to figure out, oh, Delgado gets the wall pretty good coming up off of the corner.
And don't look now, but here comes the boss, John Ross, and that number 44 car, doing what he does best, and that's being like a lion in waiting there in the wilderness, stalking his prey. I mean, him and Delgado might be teammates on the track, but if it comes down to a race win, you know,
This isn't Formula 1.
Ross is going to do whatever he's going to need to do.
We're not going to see any sort of, hey, Oscar, can you pull over? Lando kind of like we want him to win this one. Not going to see that.
No.
But I tell you what, if you're Nate Lesko, you just saw that last time around one of the greatest things that you can see, and you're seeing it once again. The car in front, Christian Delgado, is trying to break the draft. It's definitely a key thing to do when you're at these long straightaway type of racetracks, but the draft is not what's closing that 20 car in. It is all done on the corners. So seeing him try to break the draft,
Oh,
that means you know you're in his head. Now he's looking up to the top side. He's going to cut down below, but Delgado tries to block and cover off the inside. He's going to move back up and use up all the racetrack that he can, and Lesko's going to have to check up just a hair coming up off of 2. Try it again in 3 and 4 to set up that momentum. They cut down, get a later apex, and I've always been a big fan of the late apex strategy. Delgado gets the wall, Ross gets the wall, and between all the smoke, Lesko might have. Lesko looking up to the outside once again, going to try to cut down to the inside. He's not as close as he was last time, so the leader can't try to park it on the inside. He moves back down to try to snake away out of that draft, and John Ross falls back just a little bit. Going through 3 and 4. Virtually the same line. The 20 just a hair lower, probably 6 inches lower. Coming up off of turn 4. Everybody pretty clean coming up off of 4 that time. Back down into 1, and on the braking is really, Alan, where Lesko is able to pounce.
Yeah, definitely. Nate Lesko is now there. Delgado and Lesko are now pulling away from the boss, John Ross. And don't look now, kids, up 5 spots. There's that 68 car, Tom Ringer, who is currently resides in the 4th position.
And Ringer's been doing a great job. He's trying to slowly but surely, methodically make his way up to the front. He's got a long way to go to catch that top 3, which I think 2 of them hit the wall once again. He's kind of found himself on an island as this battle for the race lead heats up once again. It seems like the 20 is able to get the run coming up off of turn number 2, but through the shifting down the back straightaway, that's where Delgado's really getting him. And I've got to believe if you're Nate Lesko, you've got to try to get this pass done on corner exit, especially up off of 2. If you can get side by side with him into 3 and 4, you might be able to pull him back and slide him, but you've got to be able to set up that perfect 1 and 2 to make it happen.
Yeah, 1 and 2 is so critical. There's no air. There's no room for error in that turn 1 and 2. You know, here as we go on and further in the run, you're going to see these guys in a rhythm, and you know a lot of cautions will start to break that rhythm as David Cook has won the race to the beer stand. We got to do that week off last week. That's really messing with me right now.
Here comes Lesko to the outside once again, going to try to cut into that late apex. He gets his nose down below the 31. 31 gets a little bit loose coming up off of the corner. Lesko might be able to get a nose to his outside. This is the best run that he's had. Getting down into 3 and 4, though. He gets up on the brakes just a little bit, stays behind him, gets a nice middle of the corner to get right back to his rear bumper, touches that rumble strip just a little bit, and that upset the car.
That's going to allow Delgado to get away just ever so slightly. But here comes the boss, John Ross. He is slipping. He's going to try to regather himself and get back up there and contend for this race lead. So we're working lap number 31 of 110 here from St. Louis. And speaking of St. Louis, they are repairing the fence at the Dome right now.
Oh, man, it's almost time. You know, I think John Ross at this point, he's just biding his time. He sees how hard the 20 is trying to fight to pass that 31, and he's able to stay close with these guys, but I just don't see him pushing incredibly hard. He was for a little bit when he was tagging the wall, but I think he's just kind of backed it off a little bit, try to save his stuff, and hope that these guys keep heating up their stuff, using up their stuff, and they fall back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it best. As Nate Lesko, we're going to stick with this battle here just a little bit longer and see if anything can materialize except Nate Lesko running the fuses out of those tires. As these guys are closing on the first car, they're going to put a lap down.
Yeah, it looks to be Joshua Gillen in the 23. Just in front of these guys. John Ross starting to close in on these guys once again. Sorry, the 21, not the 23. Yeah, Lesko's just not able to get that drive up off of the corner to put a nose to the inside or the outside. It's almost looking like he's going to have to get position on the 31 coming out of the corner. And hope he can try to side draft him back, but the 31 is phenomenal down these straightaways. His shifting is impeccable. Here comes a little bit of a run out of the 20. He slides up off of the corner.
Oh, we got
caution is
caution!
out. It's the 21 of Joshua Gillen just in front of your race leaders. Gillen goes around all on his own.
And
oh, man.
oh,
Just got a little bit too much throttle coming up off of the corner. Got sideways. Potentially shifting up. I'm not sure if that's what did, but... oh, now let's hold on with this. Let's wait with this because it's possible the 21 may have made contact with another car.
and he's gonna get flipped around.
No, he did not. The 72 is jumping up on the radio. I'm hearing the 72 talking about getting some damage there, so I'm not sure where that came from, but... everybody's making a pit stop.
We kind of figured that was going to happen. Meanwhile, while they're making pit stops, Liam, we'd say we take a pit stop of our own, go side by side, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to St. Louis, or Madison, Illinois, as we are back from our first commercial break of the night, and we are back to Green Flag Racing here. The boss, John Ross, gets the early jump on the field, and we are back off and running.
Yeah, and I do just want to bring up, we did see pit penalties for both Nate Westro and Christian Delgado, your first and second place drivers. And I just want to clarify why that happened. Gateway is one of the very few tracks that has an access road that is required to enter pit lane. It's kind of similar to how Atlanta is. Oh, we got trouble coming up off of turn number 4. The 18 goes around. Broadfoot hits the inside wall, and we're under caution once again.
We saw a lot, but here's how it happened here. As Broadfoot gonna go around and just get on the gas a little too hard.
Might not be hurt too bad on the damage there. It was a front end impact. You can see the splitter is uneven there, but didn't seem to be too painful for him. But as I was getting at just a moment or so ago, let's see if I can bring it up.
While he's doing that, meanwhile, back across the road for our friends that are racing dirt right now, Bobby Pierce showing the way at the Dome over Mike Harrison and Brian Shirley and Ashton Winger. As we're riding around.
Oh, no way. That's on right now?
That is on right now.
When you said painting the wall, I thought you meant like they were prepping for the event.
No, they are repairing the wall. He's still got 2 more days of it, so.
That's fair. All right, I'm still. So John Ross is going to take the outside. See if Alan can click on that under this final lap of caution here. And so essentially what you're going to see here is the pit lane box is on the entrance to the access road. So Delgado's going to come across it. Yeah, that's essentially the commitment cone. And Delgado was a little bit to the outside. Lesko is going to come across it. And so that is why they got the unsafe pit entry. It is a very unique situation that is unique to this track. But just wanted to clarify that for the viewers at home and for anybody who, comes back and watches this during the race. It was potentially trying to get it figured out, but we're ready to double up here. We're already doubled up, ready for the restart.
Can you believe we've already been through 41 laps of 110?
No, these guys are absolutely flying through this. And it's been pretty good racing. I mean, these flat tracks are always tough with the next gens, and iRacing obviously allows them to race a little bit closer together, but it really is a chess match. It's, a mistake one way could cost you a position. It could cost you 3. You might be able to mess up your toe link if you hit the wall too hard, and we know that some of these guys have been pretty flirtatious with that outside wall on corner exit, so we will see what we've got here as John Ross, once again, ready to lead them down. Now, the pace car, I think this is kind of rude. The pace car just gets to make this aggressive left turn. And everybody else has to go and hit some sort of box going into turn 3. It's just not fair. Anyways, green flag back in the air. John Ross gets on the Haas.
I love
rumbling here. He's got about 2-3 car lengths getting into turns 1 and 2. As Tom Ringer looks out of the inside of John Crosby. Crosby now looks out of the inside of John Ross. Remember, Crosby was sideways on the first lap of this race and didn't get the caution. So he's got himself a phenomenal recovery here as he's trying to take the lead. A little bit of contact on corner entry, and John Ross going to slide up the racetrack. Here comes Crosby to the inside. He's going to get clear. Coming up off of turn number 4. Gives ample space up on the outside. One up into the wall. Not sure who that was. Falling back down the front straightaway, but Christian Clark going to try to get down to the inside.
I am just mesmerized at Busch Light number 99, Christian Clark, trying to buy his time. And he's got Tom Ringer and the boss John Ross side by side in front of him. And
Ross going to slide up the racetrack just a little bit in the middle, get that exit coming down, and Ringer gets space up on the top. It's a really risky spot because if you slide up into somebody, odds are you're both going to wreck. You really want to try to stay as clean as you can coming up off of turn 2 just because it's such an upsetting exit of the corner. Oh, another one gets up into the wall. Like Chuck Bailey. Christian Delgado going to look to his inside. Bailey stays way to the outside. He's going to let him go through, and Nate Lesko going to try to follow through on the bottom. Not going to be able to use up all the racetrack that he wants to. Stays side by side with that 4 car.
Yeah, definitely Nate Lesko making a move already on that 4 car. Nate Lesko is almost like a magnet to Christian Delgado as he's playing the Lamb, and Delgado's playing Mary, and Mary had a little Lamb, and there it is in the Formula 20 car.
I'm going to pretend I got that.
I'm going to pretend I knew what I was saying.
You do that a lot.
Checking back in with 2 laps to go here at the Gateway Dirt Nationals. Bobby Pierce going to take night number 1 here. He's going to come by to get the white flag. Or checkered flag, sorry.
Good job, Bobby.
Yes.
And if you were watching that, don't worry. You've still got 43 laps of racing coming your way here at Gateway. Just a little bit down the road and on your computer screens. Nate Lesko still following Christian Delgado, who has caught all the way up to Christian Clark in 4th place. These guys had to start at the rear of the field following a pit road penalty, and a little bit loose was that 31 coming up off of the corner. A quick little wiggle. He gets back to the inside now with the 99, who stays pretty wide. It looks like he's just gonna play nicely here. No, he gets a nice run coming up off of the corner.
What a run, Christian Delgado working on the inside of that 99 Busch Light Apple car. Nate Lesko looking to get into the party also. I mean, there's more action right here in this battle than there is at the Waffle House at 3 a.m.
And that's saying something.
The 99 car gets wide. That's going to open the door for the 20 car Nate Lesko. John Crosby, it's the battle of the Johns here up in the front. We don't want to discount anything up here in the front, but the boss John Ross continues to be in that 2nd position.
Doing himself a pretty good job over here. Been out front since roughly 2 laps after the restart. Led about 13 laps so far in this race. Currently has himself about 0.6 of a second over 2nd place John Ross. Tom Ringer in 3rd, about 6 more tenths back. Another 0.6 back to Christian Delgado. And you got Nate Lesko in that Nesquik machine, not too far off of his back bumper.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty close battle. Then you got Christian Clark in the number 99 car, who's under fire from the 4 of Chuck Burley. He's looking, and then right behind him, Brandon Hinton out of the Hinton Motorsports car. He's up 11 spots, Liam.
Yeah, pretty good start for him as he did not get a time down in qualifying. Definitely our biggest mover of the race, even if you take away the 2 that started on the pit lane.
Looking a bit further back, there's a 13 car of Cody Deek out of Oath Racing. Currently running 9th.
Yeah, Brian Sousa just behind him. Trying to close in. It's about a second between those two. He's got the 18 Interstate battery. Red and Broadstead, Jonathan McIntosh just behind that. Thomas Wynn, Jacob Williams, Sean Dion. Todd Parrott, Joshua Gillen. Just behind them, that Tide Ride, looking pretty good.
Right now, as we continue to go through the field here, Josh Gillian in that 17th position, David Bruchicki in the number 92 car, the Ghostbusters car, lagging behind just a little bit. David Cook once again wins the race to the rear stand. But here we are back up to the front, and it's all John Crosby all day long. Right behind him is the boss, John Ross. Tom Ringer gonna make a move on Christian Delgado. We now have a 3-car battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, Nate Lesko thought about trying to make it a move to the inside on Delgado, but decides against it, getting into turns 1 and 2. Or rather 3 and 4. Now they get into turns 1 and 2. You see Delgado move up the racetrack, and Lesko moves up even higher.
Oh boy. We got us a barn burner shaping up here. Lap 56 of 110. I mean, we're not even halfway yet.
We actually are halfway. This is lap 55.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess my math isn't mathing.
Anyways, Lesko moves up to the outside of Delgado. Almost gets the nose there in the center of the corner, but he's got to relinquish that spot because he don't want to throttle up and smack that wall. Delgado going to look down to the inside of Ringer once again. Ringer does not want to give it up. He moves down to defend. He moves up to defend. Delgado moves up the racetrack as well, and now here comes Lesko right to his rear bumper. Delgado gets a little bit loose coming up off of the corner. Lesko going to try his nose down to the inside.
And he's got to go 3-1 if he wants to make this fast.
Here comes Delgado, moves down to the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to thread the needle between the 20 and the 68. A bad exit for the 68 of Ringer is going to allow Delgado to the inside, and Nate Lesko follows him through. Delgado works his way back up to 3rd place, and Nate Lesko follows him.
Oh boy, here we are, Nate Lesko, Christian Delgado in that 31 car, making moves, making it happen.
About 2.2 off the leader. Closing in fast, though. We saw the gap that these guys were able to put on the field, and obviously John Ross, he's still sitting there in the 2nd position. He was able to follow these guys up front, but not able to hold on to the race lead off that restart. And he might just be biding his time, as he might have been in the first part of the stage.
I mean, if you're Nate Lesko, you've been trying to get around Christian Delgado for quite some time here. What do you think is going through his mind? Because we know he's not content riding in that 4th position very long.
He's pretty sick of that rear bumper in front of him. That's a fact. It's about all he's seen all race. So he wants to maybe see some other sights. You know, this part of Illinois is very pretty. The archway, not too far. And there's also other cars that he could be behind, and he's been stuck to the bumper of this 31 all race long. He works up to the outside. He's changing lanes. He's getting out of the wake. He's doing everything right. He just can't get enough to get around that 31 of Christian Delgado. Meanwhile, up towards the front, the battle is heating up for the lead as John Ross is within just a couple of car lengths now of your race leader, John Crosby.
Yeah, absolutely. John Ross running in the 2nd position right now. And he is right there on John Crosby. It's a battle of the Johns here. They come out of turn number 4.
Yeah, but they've got to settle it quick because they've got two very hungry cars, very hungry drivers just behind them, trying to pounce on this battle going on in front of them.
Right, you are. And here, Nate, let's go. Look at the make a move. He thought about it going down out of turn number 2.
I'd be interested to know if John Ross just stays in 4th gear for turns 1 and 2. And if the extra shift is what costs Delgado his straightaway speed.
Well, you
Because
asked.
we know Delgado's going down into 3rd gear into turns 1 and 2. He's been doing it all race.
And it looks like Crosby having a little bit of connection issues.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see it, but if you're behind him... Oh, here comes a move to the inside by Ross. He gets into Crosby.
The bumper.
The bump and run. Is he going to be able to run? No, they stay side by side. They hit again. Dead even across the stripe. Crosby led that lap. But you know Ross isn't going to give it up on the inside. Crosby, does he retaliate? He's going to cross him over. He's going to put the nose in there. Little bit more contact. They're still side by side. They're door banging. And John Ross is pissed. Crosby's, they are angry at each other. They slide into turn number 3. There's going to be more contact up the racetrack. Goes John Ross. Crosby stays all the way to the bottom of the track. Who's going to get the run coming up off of the corner? Ross gets into the wall. He gets into Crosby. There's still door banging down the front straightaway. And Nate Lesko was able to get around Delgado and into turn 1. Sideways is the 44. He saves it. And Crosby holds on to the race. Nate Lesko takes 2nd. Lesko hits the wall. He's got a massive run. What a battle we just saw for the lead. And now here comes Lesko trying to take away the race lead. Looking down to the inside. Not going to be able to do it this time, but he has closed in.
Did someone tell these guys it was only lap 66? Nate Lesko going for the lead on John Crosby. It was a battle of the Johns.
Discussions on the radio channels. John Ross is not very happy with Crosby there. He was struggling to get around him there. He felt like he was aero blocked, and the contact going on there sure didn't help any favors, but it's neither here nor there who initiated. Well, Ross hit him with the bump and run, and I feel like it's just kind of blow for blow.
I would like to see if we could find that save that John Ross had when he slid into the grass. Meanwhile, Lesko continues to drive away here. He's going to open it up to a half second. My word. Nate Lesko continues to lead at a half a second over John Crosby. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, John Ross.
Brandon Broadfoot's come into the pits.
Ooh, first green flag pit stop of the day. There's that John Crosby. I was waiting for that one to come up there, and I mean, ooh, she gets this to the wall, and
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but when you go back and look at it, it does kind of seem like the 44 tries to cut across the bumper of the 73. It was quite aggressive from both drivers, but you know, that's part of racing. Neither one of them wanted to give up the spot. Crosby didn't want to give up the lead. John Ross didn't want to give up his opportunity. We're sitting here with about 40 laps to go. Driver's starting to make what could be the final pit stop of the race, and John Ross, after that incident, is deciding the undercut is the way he's going to have to do this.
I mean, yeah, I agree 100% with the strategy move. You know, with 40 laps to go, I mean, you almost have to. Meanwhile, there's the man of the hour, Nate Lesko. Here, lap number 73 of 110. And now we're getting really strung out.
Crosby's able to hold on to P2. I don't know if something happened to Delgado that allowed for Lesko to get such a clear advantage, or if he just got the clean air, and that's what he was lacking that whole time in the first run. But he has done a phenomenal job, Nate Lesko has, continuing to increase his gap. It's 1.7 seconds. Delgado's still got to get around that 73 car, but the second half of this race is looking quite a bit different from the first.
Yeah. John Ross down one lap now. Brandon hitting down a lap. So if the caution were to come out right now, John Ross would be the lucky dog. As we were focused up on the 31 car. He's grabbing a little bit of the wall there. And that would be Christian Delgado. See if there's any other battles happening around the racetrack there. Brian Souza up 11 spots from where he started, currently running 7th. And it looks like we got one back here with the 3 car. So we got some... Okay, got some action here. It looks like we're looking at...
This is the pass for Nate Lesko on Christian Delgado that gets him in front. He's going to get this nice run on braking, getting into turn 1. He finally establishes that position. And you can see from there, Delgado not able to use up all the racetrack that he wants to. Has to relinquish the position on the bottom side. Now, another important part about this pit cycle, you want to make sure you don't cross over that box. And you can't afford either to get into the grass or have any sort of issue where you get back onto the track because of this access road. You can't risk an unsafe pit entry. We already saw it with the 20, with the 31. These guys under caution even. They just barely missed that box, but they were in the wrong zone at the wrong time. And unfortunately got penalized. And you know, iRacing is pretty cut and dry about that. So even if the league tries to take away that penalty, you're still going to have to serve. At least if it's a caution flag penalty.
Correct.
Under green, they're not going to... That's not one that they would take away.
78 laps in the history books. Nate Lesko doing what Nate Lesko does, and that is lead the race by almost 3 seconds. John Crosby back there running 2nd. Christian Delgado back there running 3rd. New Year strung out in the top 5.
Oh, here comes your race leader into the pits. Sorry, I had that backwards.
All good, as we got 4 cars on pit road. Jonathan McIntosh, he's going to take over at second position.
Thomas Wynn had himself a bit of a moment on pit entry. Crosby's out. Lesko's in.
Oh,
McIntosh follows him in from about 20 seconds back. Todd Parrott in the 69 is your effective third place car. He's actually going to take over the race lead. John Ross is going to jump over Nate Lesko by a considerable margin.
ooh, we got a yellow
And the
flag.
caution
Christian
comes out.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, Delgado. He got a piece of it from somebody behind him, but other than that, he keeps it off of the wall. Cold tires.
Not your friend on a hot racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, that was his first lap out there, full song. I mean, I know
Yep.
he kind of went up through 3 and 4 that first time around after the pit, but that was his first time through 3 and 4 full song, and those tires just hadn't quite heated up enough. And, you know, you try to get onto the gas like you're used to, it can be detrimental, and we saw it there. Todd Parrott getting what could be the blessing of a lifetime here, is he's going to be able to come in and pit. John Ross going to follow him down. Ross pitted on lap number 71 about 10 laps ago. He's going to elect to potentially come in and take another set of tires. But if you're Todd Parrott, you love this. So you're using a set of tires that these guys have already used. Hey, Lesko's going to stay out. He just came out of the pits on lap 80, so he's got some pretty fresh tires. Tom Ringer is going to be in second place, but he's about 4 lap older tires. John Crosby, 1 lap older tires. Chuck Burley, 3 lap older. And then Cody Deek rounding out your top 5. He's going to have 8 lap older tires. So the best tires in the field will be at the front of the field. Then outside of the top 10, we've got 6 drivers pitting.
It's a lot of cars.
They'll obviously have a little bit fresher rubber, but they're going to have a lot of traffic to get through, and not a huge advantage on Lesko, who has basically just had time to heat up his tires. I don't think he's even had time to put some wear into them. I mean, he hasn't broken off the surface layer. If anything, he's just ripped the sticker off.
Well, they're going to send him around one more time, Liam.
Then we get ready to rock and rumble with less than 30 laps to go. 4 cautions so far in this race. We saw a yellow flag on lap number 2. Saw a yellow flag around lap 33. Quick one right there on the restart. And then we've got the Christian Delgado spin bringing out our first caution of the day. John Crosby is 3rd. John Ross is 13th. A lot of separation between them, but 28 laps is a long way to go. If you can get a couple of them quick on the restart here, it's definitely doable for those guys to find each other once again. I can imagine They're both probably a little upset with each other. Once they look at the replay, I think they'll both kind of see the tail at the tape.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
for right now, they haven't seen a replay. They don't have anyone telling them what happened. They're just trying to win a race. Back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air, and Lesko gets away. He's going to have a car length or two over Ringer, who now has to defend from John Crosby down on the inside. Lesko with a good exit. Have a couple of car lengths on Crosby. Up into the wall. One is... Oh, and around goes John Ross into the outside.
Not the boss.
He's going to be able to keep it away with minimal damage, but I tell you what, man, he just pitted. He's going to have to come back down pit road again, and he's going to have a long way to go to get to the front and a lot less time.
I mean, we're almost on the south side of 30 laps.
We got 25 to go at this point. So, I don't know if that's going to be enough time to go from 17th. That's a long way to go on a track that's tough to pass at. I mean, we saw how long it took for Nate Lesko to get around Delgado. It took him a huge amount of time just to get the position. Once he could get the position, it was game, set, match. But you have to get there.
Yeah, I don't think pit stops are gonna happen. So not this time around.
No, I think most of these guys are pretty committed. Made their bed, they're gonna lie in it.
As you saw it live here, John Ross's night went from bad to worse. Checking in on our friends over at the Dome at America Center, the UMP Dirt Car Modifieds have had rolled off, and we just had the big one here at the Dome. I tell you what, Liam, next year's the 5th anniversary of the Gateway Dirt Nationals. What do we got to do to get Liam Irving to the Dome at America Center next December 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
That's a good question.
A couple of dirt racing guys hanging out.
I mean, it sounds like a great time. We just got to make sure that the
Schedule lines
I can
up.
make the schedule work for it. But
I mean,
it ain't too far from me. I can definitely make that happen.
What's the chance that Spider-Man comes?
No. No.
No Spidey in St. Louis?
Maybe. Might be able to be convinced with a few cocktails.
Good boy. Well, I tell you what.
Anyways, we're doubling up here. Hey, let's go. He's got John Crosby to his outside. Tom Ringer and Chuck Burley make up row number 2. We've got Christian Clark and Brian Sousa, who's worked his way up from 18th starting position. Thomas Wynn went around a little bit earlier, and he's able to recover to 7th place. Joshua Gillen up into 8th. Todd Parent back to 9th. And 10th place, Brandon Broadfoot. We also saw him get turned around. Jonathan McIntosh, Brandon Hinton, John Ross, Cody Deek, Sean Dion, David Berchicki, and Christian Delgado all the way at the back here. John Ross able to get back up to 13th. Wonder if Delgado had some damage from an earlier deal, and that's why he fell back. Keep an eye on things, though. We're going to have 22 laps to go as we take the green flag.
Yeah, definitely 22 laps to go. Working lap number 88, the iRacing.com pace car pulls off on the pit road. Lesko, Crosby in control of the field to the Geico restart zone. And we are off and running once again from Gateway with 23 laps to go.
Much better start from the outside that time. We haven't seen anybody stay within a car length or 2 of the leader, but Lesko dives it in deep. Here comes Crosby trying to get down to the inside. Trying for the later apex. He's got second place coming up off of turn number 4 or 2. Gonna have himself a nice run on Lesko. And you gotta wonder if he could stay close enough. We saw what Lesko was doing with his shifter. Could he potentially get a run at the end of the straightaway? But right now, he's not staying close enough. He's lost a couple of car lengths.
It looks like we got another battle for the lead run here with John Crosby and Nate Lesko. And we got a whole gaggle of cars back here just slicing and dicing with Thomas winning that number 72 car. .21 to go here from Worldwide Technology Raceway.
To the inside goes Thomas Wynn, try to take it away from Brian Sousa, and he's going to be able to do that coming up off of the corner. They stay side by side, actually. Sousa's got himself a nice run on this long straightaway and is able to use that, but here comes the 72. Big slider. Slides all the way up the racetrack, and that's going to cost him a couple of positions here. As the 18 gets around him, John Ross going to try to follow suit.
$19 laps to go, Liam, and this battle is heating up. We're not missing anything up in the car.
Lesko's out front by 0.4 of a second right now. Crosby's trying to keep him honest, but Lesko's able to keep just enough of a gap to stay comfortable.
Just 18 circuits left to go. Nate Lesko keeping John Crosby honest, and looking a little bit further back, here comes Tom Ringer. He's just one of those drivers here that we see week in and week out who just quietly rides where he's at, and then you see him make that big splash there at the end.
That last time around, he was a couple of tenths quicker than second place John Crosby, but the fastest car on the racetrack continues to be Nate Lesko, and he has fresh, clean air in front of him, which is probably the most effective weapon that a race car driver can have, especially in this next-gen era. Look at how many cars smacked the wall coming up off of turn 4. John Ross was one of them. We saw that 4 car just behind of Chuck Bailey. Chuck up 10 spots. He started 14th, so those are all on merit. Brian Sousa also up 11. I believe he only gained 1 from the guys falling back, maybe 2, but a lot of guys able to work their way up through the field.
Yeah, that's all. Tom Ringer there in that number, 68 car. We got another
yellow flag
caution.
is out.
And
Thomas Wynn, I believe, has gone around.
Yes.
Yeah, heavy damage to the front end of that machine.
Let's see what happened to Thomas Wynn.
Oh, he got the apron a little bit.
Ooh.
John Ross. No, that's not Ross. Sorry.
That was a 21 car of Gillian.
Joshua Gillen, yeah. Yeah, he almost had it saved, and then that last little correction sent him back up the racetrack. And unfortunately, a couple of other machines get involved. That Nerds machine of Josh Gillen was one of them, and Thomas Wynn's day is likely over at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It was here on lap number 97 of 110. Checking in on the Gateway Dirt Nationals, the modifieds are up now, and RTJ showing the way here in Nerf Teacher with 16 laps to go.
13 laps to go here, Alan.
They got 16 laps to go. In the we have 13 laps to go. They got 13 laps to go. As Nate Lesko continues to show the way. John Crosby there with Beer Run Racing in that 6th or 7th position. We got drivers coming in off of pit road. Lap number 98 under caution here. The 110 to be ran. Want to thank everybody for joining us here on youtube.com live chat on your phones, on your homes, wherever you may be watching.
I'd even be watching from a smart TV.
Yeah. That's true.
If you are, that's awesome. We appreciate you. Always wanted to be on the big screen.
You know, before we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing next weekend, I'll be next Thursday. I'll be trading in the suit for the shirt and tie for a fire suit as we'll go play in the dirt and race the Pro Late Model at Knoxville.
Man, that's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited for you, and that's gonna be so exhilarating.
I just hope I can make the show. A lot of the top tier dirt drivers on iRacing going to be there. Nonetheless, we have just over 11 laps to go here as we get ready to come back to Green Flag Racing. As that iRacing.com pace car is going to peel off on the pit road. It's going to be Nate Lesko and John Crosby as we enter the Geico restart zone, and we are back to Green Flag Racing. 12 laps to go. What a jump that Nate Lesko got with the hole shot.
Yeah, Crosby's going to have to try to send it in there deep and hope it sticks. He works down to the inside, but Lesko gets that run coming up off. A couple of them get up into that wall coming up off of turn number 2. Lesko able to get himself out to a car length lead. Crosby works up a little bit higher. He's going to cut down in the middle of the corner while Lesko goes to that later apex.
Absolutely.
Lesko the opportunity, as I believe that was Ross hitting the wall once again.
Well, it's the race we're in right now with 10 laps to go. Nate Lesko looking for win number 2. And he just might get it. We got a whole gaggle of cars back here right around this Christian Clark area.
Yeah, a lot of guys looking at potentially making it 3 wide. Here's an instance right here. 18 goes to the middle early on the outside, and here's the 99 of Christian Clark all the way down on the bottom. Almost contact on there on the inside. And there is contact! Burley gets turned into the inside wall, goes to 60 of Sousa, and the caution comes out once again.
We just had the big one.
Missing the corner as well. If you're Lesko at this point, you're just like, can we just get to the end?
Exactly. Here's how this all started. I just don't think the 18 car, Brandon Broadfoot, thought he was going to make that move.
caution out once again. Take a look to see. It's our
Wow.
seventh caution of the race here on lap 100 out of 110.
This is amazing. Nate Lesko, all he's got to do is hang on a little bit longer. Working lap 104 of 110 to be ran. And so far it's Nate Lesko, John Crosby, Brandon Hinton, and Brandon Broadfoot, Cody Deek rounding out your top 5.
We got Tom Ringer, John Ross, Jonathan McIntosh, Todd Parent, and Christian Delgado. He's gotten his way up to 10th.
At this point, if you're Nate Lesko, what's got to be going through your mind? You gotta nail that restart because John Crosby's been oh so deadly. Going down to turn number 1, he's got your number.
Should be getting the 1 to green this time around.
Should be.
Here, there might be some potential damage to the 18 there.
Oof.
You kind of see a little bit of it on the right front, but might be okay. Doubling up here, Lesko's going to take the bottom side once again. He's got John Crosby to his outside. Crosby's done his best to keep him honest on these restarts, but I feel like he's going to need a phenomenal one to be able to stay next to him, stay to the outside of Lesko, getting into turns 1 and 2 to have a shot at taking this race lead. Otherwise, Lesko is just phenomenal in clean air. I think if you can take it away from him, you have a shot. But if he has it, it's over. It'll be 5 laps to go when we take the restart here. 7th caution of the race.
Oh, we gotta make 5
We'll
seconds.
have the opportunity for overtime. Alan, we've got overtime.
We are coming back to Green Flag Racing with Nate Lesko and John Crosby on the button with 6 laps to go. Now it's going to be 5 laps to go as we cross the stripes. It's a 5-lap dash to the end.
Here comes Crosby right to the back bumper, but he's going to lose a little bit of time on corner exit. Meanwhile, into third place goes Brandon Broadfoot. He's going to be under fire from Ringer and from Brandon Hinton. Getting into turns 3 and 4. Up the racetrack goes the 18.
Make it 4 laps to go. Nate, let's go draw the line.
Ringer going to slide job that 18 as much as he can, although he doesn't really need to do much sliding. He rings that bottom pretty good. Might be why they call him the Ringer. Gets himself up into third place, but he's got a long way to go and not a lot of time to get there. 1.1 seconds off the race lead. We're coming to 3 laps to go this time around. Nate Lesko has done everything he possibly can all day to stay patient, to stay diligent. And once he got that clean air, he really didn't give it up. John Crosby's going to try to close in on him to make that happen. Meanwhile, the Tom Ringer machine is also very quick. He was just a couple tenths quicker that last time around.
Yeah, we got Lesko, Crosby, Ringer at the race we're in right now. It's going to be your podium. Nate Lesko coming off of turn 3 and 4. And
Thomas Wynn getting off the racetrack there in front of the leaders. Not going to be an issue. 2 more times around for Nate Lesko. He's up to about 0.4 of a second. He's really hoping to see the white flag before he sees anything else. Meanwhile, behind him, John Crosby is... Well, he's trying to hope that... Oh, Crosby gets loose coming up off of turn number 2. That's going to cost him a ton of time as we've got a 3-wide battle. John Ross goes down to the inside of Broadfoot, getting into turns 3 and 4. Lesko has himself just over 3/4 of a second. Or just under, sorry. But the white flag is in the air for that Nesquik machine.
white flag.
Nate Lesko started this race in 3rd place. Inside of the 2nd row, a little bit of another loose moment there for Crosby. Lesko started in 3rd. He was able to get up to 2nd and stayed there until after the first pit stop, where he was able to get around Christian Delgado and drive away from him. And now as he drives up off of turn number 4, Nate Lesko takes the checkered flag at Worldwide Technology Raceway and becomes the first repeat winner on the season.
What a run by Nate Lesko. Crosby will finish 2nd. Todd Ringer will finish 3rd and round out the podium. What a race.
And now we're going to get to watch Nate Lesko burn it down on the front straightaway here as he is solo all by himself getting to the start-finish line. Right up next to the inside wall for his virtual crew. And there he is to burn it down.
Those are some good burnouts. Some great burnouts from Nate Lesko.
Yeah, a little bit of some wall touch in there. You suppose Chad Knaus had something to do with that?
Maybe.
Well, Nate Lesko takes home the checkered flag. John Crosby in 2nd. And we've got Tom Ringer, Christian Delgado, and Brandon Broadfoot rounding out the top 5. After that, we've got John Ross, Brandon Hinton, Jonathan McIntosh, and Christian Clark, followed by Sean Dion to round out the top 10. Todd Parent, Jacob Williams, David Berchicki, Cody Deek, and Chuck Burley make up the top 15. And then Brian Sosa, Thomas Wynn, Joshua Gillen, and David Cook will round out the field here today.
And it looks like we got the race winner in the waiting room for you. Liam, we got Nate Lesko standing by.
Yeah, Nate, it's Liam and Alan up at the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. We just watched an incredible drive by you. You take home the checkered flag. How does it feel, and how does it feel to be the first repeat winner this season?
Oh, it feels good. I wasn't able to be here last week, so it feels good to be back in here. Man, this is a tough track to pass. Christian, I couldn't get past him for the longest time, so it was a good race, though. Eventually got around him, so it was smooth sailing after that.
Yeah, we definitely missed you last week, and you did your best to make sure that it was for a reason here tonight. And like you said, it was tough to get around people. Christian Delgado, you tried and tried and tried before that first pit stop. What was the difference maker that allowed you to get to the outside and establish your position there?
I think we're battling in traffic when that happened, so it kind of forced him to change his lines. I feel like so. I guess I was just able to roll the outside of the corner on that one time, and that's just the break that I needed.
once he got around him, it seemed to be pretty smooth sailing to get back up to the front. That late caution came out, and you decided to stay out. It actually was pretty perfect timing for you right after your pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just exited pit lane when that caution came out. I thought I was gonna be screwed at that point, but I wasn't sure where I was with cars not pitting, and ended up in the lead. So worked out good. Yeah.
Well, Nate, you put together an amazing show here tonight, a phenomenal race. You showed exceptional patience, especially when you were behind that 31. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for such a strong performance? Who helps you get it done in that 20 machine?
Was repping the Nesquik this week. So the guys out Nesquik, and then the people at the shop, they put the quick in Nesquik. Appreciate that.
Well, awesome stuff, Nate. We appreciate you joining us, and congrats again on the win, your second of the season, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
All right, next we're going to have John Crosby, I believe. Alan's got him.
John Crosby, it's Liam and Alan up in the SRM booth. You got a copy.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good, good. So, you're battling Nate Lesko there, and he's ever so slightly pulling away. What more did you need out of the car to possibly get around that Nestle quick number 20?
Yeah, it was just awfully tight. So I think I just overheated the front tires there. There's just really nothing I could do. I couldn't even get to them. So, but yeah, just needed a little bit more front turn.
Awesome stuff. Worldwide Technology Raceway in the books. Next week we head out west. What's it mean to get to go back to Auto Club and to a track that a lot of people love here on the server?
Yeah, it's great. Auto Club is fun. There's so many different lines. So it's not as easy to get, aero tight with somebody. So you can run so many different lines. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'm definitely excited for it.
Awesome stuff.
Hey, I do just want to jump in and ask. Obviously, we saw the contact with you in the 44. Have you had a chance to look at any sort of replay, and do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It's I don't know. It's hard racing. It looks on the straightaways there, the back straight and the front straight. It looks like I came up into him a couple times. I might have door slammed him on accident. But coming down the back straight, he just ran me down into the corner, or just down the back straight, just dooring me. And I understand his frustrations, so I can't be extremely upset with him. It's a stupidly hard track to pass on. So I get it. I might have just gone about it a different way, but hey, it is what it is, and we might have a conversation about it. If we don't, then oh well. But I'm not too mad about it. But yeah, I definitely didn't mean to do anything intentional there.
Well, awesome stuff, man. We appreciate your comments on that. I'll let Alan take back over here.
Well, before we get you out of here, John, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done on that number 73 car?
Yeah, everyone at Beer Run Racing, Brian and Christian were here tonight. So, at the beginning of this, I was scared to death. In practice, I was pretty slow. I think it was kind of mid-pack. Qualified really bad. I qualified fourth, I think. So that was kind of surprising. And then coming into turn one there on like the first lap, I downshifted one too many times and spun it around, but glad I didn't get anyone collected there. But yeah, no, Christian and Brian definitely gave me a lot of pointers there. So just happy to have them as teammates.
All right.
Well, awesome stuff, John. We appreciate you joining us here. Congratulations on the second place, and man, you look strong. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
I hope so, and thank you guys so much for putting this on. Appreciate it.
One interview left, Liam, and that is Tom Ringer in the 68 car.
Yeah, Tom Ringer, it's Liam and Alan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Well, I tell you what, man, you come home third, you gained 6 spots throughout the race, but that doesn't tell the whole story of your race. You were a lot of fun to watch. You're able to ring that bottom better than most. What does it take to keep that car on the bottom for so long, so deep into a run?
You know, I changed my brakes bias pretty good. I made bigger calipers, and I was able to hold it, and it saves tires doing that. It seems like it would wear them out more, but when you're up top and you're running around the outside, you wear more tires. So if you can hold the bottom, you can normally at the end of the run start picking guys off. Now that didn't work for us because of the cautions, but if it would have continued in the long run, I think I would have been able to run them guys down. Then the last one, I took tires and it didn't work out because there was another caution, but I got to work my way back through it and pick off that third spot. So it turned out pretty good.
Talk to us about how tough it was to pass here. I mean, we saw a lot of close racing, but it seemed like passes almost took 2 or 3 laps to set up.
Yeah, you know, if you can run the bottom, you can get alongside of them, but they get the run off. So it's all about whoever messes up first. If one guy screws his corner, well, then you'll get the pass. If not, it's bumping and banging, which, I mean, I'm sure you guys seen. It's a very, very, very hard track to pass.
Well, you were able to get 6 of them done from the start of the race, but I know that number is plenty higher with the race that you had here today. But who do you want to shout out? Who do you have to thank for such a strong performance this week? Who helps you get it done on that 68 machine?
You know, the admin guys, Jacob, Chuck, Todd, Sean, Mark, all of us, we get together, you know, we do some setups on it, and you know, it gets us through it. I mean, I've got a good sponsor in Appleby Simulator, and they give me my ride, so you know, shout out to them for sponsoring me. And you know, the admins here is a great group of guys. We all get together, you know, race reviews and everything. And it takes a lot, but we get it done, and we're growing, and we appreciate everybody that's here.
Awesome stuff, Tom. We appreciate you guys for putting this league on and having us call it, and we appreciate you for taking the time to join us here at the end of the race.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. We appreciate what you guys do, and you know, we're looking forward to the next one.
Awesome stuff. Thank you again, Tom. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Great broadcast. We'll talk to you later.
Yep. Well, Liam, there's only one more piece of housekeeping to take care of, and that is to go over these final results. As we heard from the top 3, finishing 4th tonight will be Christian Delgado. Rounding out your top 5 would be Brandon Broadfoot. John Ross will bring it home 6th, while Brandon Hinton will bring it home 7th. 8th will go to Jonathan McIntosh, while Christian Clark will bring it home 9th. Rounding out your top 10 will be Sean Dion. Todd Parent will finish in that 11th position, while Jacob Williams will finish 12th. 13th will go to David Berchicki, while Cody Deek will bring it home 14th. 15th will go to Chuck Burley. 16th will go to Brian Souza, while Thomas One will bring it home in that 17th position. Joshua Gillian will bring it home in 18th, and winning the race to the beer stand tonight will be David Cook.
Well, I tell you what, Alan, it has been a long day for me. I worked 12 hours and, you know, come home, and I'm blessed with an amazing race, which unfortunately leaves me a little bit exhausted. I might need to make a trip to that beer stand too. David Cook had a not so great race, but a good idea.
Yes. And on that note, Liam, as the late great Tony Trapasso would always say, as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic, everybody. Good night.